I'm Elaine Ellingham, President and CEO of Omai Gold Mines. We have a large gold project in Guyana, in the north coast of South America. We've been working on it for about 3 years, drilling fairly aggressively. We've put out 3 43-101 resources, each one obviously larger than the one before. And a major milestone for a small company, we put out a PEA in April of this year. We then followed it with a brokered financing, so we're well cashed we did a $13 million financing, and very conveniently it was 90% went to the funds, and so great new shareholders on board, and so we've got our drills turning, first with one, and we added a second, and yeah, so it's kind of pretty exciting times, and we think we have a good path forward between here and the year end, and lots of good news hopefully coming out.
Good summary. We're going to get in a bit more detail. We're here at the conference. You having a good conference so far?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Packed full of meetings.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want. And Guyana, a little bit hot at the moment. There's a lot of action in the country. Lots of mining deals being done, and it seems to be very, very positive.
Yeah, when you said hot, I thought you were going to talk about the weather.
It's hot as well.
It's hot. Well. Yes, yeah, absolutely. The Guiana Shield in general, one of those underexplored greenstone belts that a lot of people have been attracted to, and so yeah, there's several companies that have been on very significant discoveries. I like to think we're one of them. There's another company, Gold Source, that Mako did a deal with them, and they're moving forward really fast towards production. So that's a good sign for the country as well.
Well, it's small but perfectly formed. It's something slightly and a little bit more exciting, as the market sees it. G2 reunion deal. Everyone's a little bit excited.
G Mining.
G2. Those are the ghosts of the south. G Mining. Yes. Getting my G's mixed up. So yeah, G Mining coming in there. And I think the exciting thing for me there is, if I'm looking at how that thing gets financed and built out, you could have a bunch of quite conservative bankers get comfortable with the country, and clearly they are.
Right, and I think it has a track record there. There is the operating Aurora mine in there. Guyana Goldfields was operating there for a number of years. Yeah, the government's very receptive to mining. There's a long history of mining there. Yeah, I think it does. You're right. It takes a while for the bankers to get that comfort level, but the government's very willing to meet with people. Obviously, the offshore oil business has seen a lot of visitors to the country, a lot of investment into the country. So I think maybe the bankers for these mining projects can take some comfort in the investments that are going on in Guyana, in both the oil patch, the offshore oil, but also in those spin-off businesses, because it's been quite considerable.
I'll say that inward investment is obviously trucking and is great. Let's talk about the PEA though. Remind me of the kind of base number on that. And it's only 45% of the package, right, but it could be the base numbers.
Yeah, so basically the PEA, it's only, as you say, 45% of our resource. It's only on the one of the two deposits, and it's the open pitable, because we knew that, after our drilling last year, we felt that we could move forward to that. So it's the net present value, we use the standard 5% discount, was 556 million, and it's for 1.9 million ounce production, about 142,000 ounces per year over a 13-year mine life. But we do very much consider that a baseline. Yeah. I think it was important for the project because it shows there is a clear path where this can be developed. I would say even we were delighted to see it come through at that level. I would also point out that, because the Omai project was a past producer, a lot of people think, it's going to be deeper. In fact, in that PEA, over 80% was above 300 meters. So we're still talking a very shallow operation.
And I think the other number I think people like to look to is obviously the IRR. So
right,
which is about 24.8 at 1950 gold, right?
Yeah, I think it's just under 20%.
Or is that just over 19.8?
Yes.
I'm not
and
very
we
well
used a
in this
1950
interview.
gold price.
Right. But moving forward to looking at, say, today's kind of gold price, which is super, super exciting, right?
Yep.
The numbers change dramatically.
Yeah, it takes the NPV up to just, I think, 950 million or thereabouts.
Right.
Takes the IRR up to about 28%.
Right.
Definitely it takes it $2,500 gold price is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and the deposit itself, average grade is about 1.5.
Yeah.
That's pretty robust grades for an open pit operation.
Okay. So everything kind of seems to be moving ahead. There's a little bit of, I guess you say, I told you so. I told you we had a route to market, Matt. So the PA is a good first start. The cash is the thing which is going to help move forward, because there's no rest for the wicked. You've got to move forward. The PA is done. We now need to move forward. So what are you going to do with that cash?
So we actually, the financing, I think, closed on the 20th of June, and we had the drill mobilized and drilling about 1 week later. So with the drill company we're using now, we were drilling right out of the gate 2,000 meters a month.
Okay.
So that's, so after, I had said this, that after we kind of got everything organized, we would add a second drill. So we added a second drill about 5 weeks later. So that means we're now drilling in the order of 4,000 meters a month. So we're very well funded for this. And drill costs in Guyana are very reasonable. And, we have 2 assay labs in Georgetown. The majority of our crew are Guyanese. So we have road access. So drill costs are actually not outrageous at all. We can do a lot of drilling. We kind of estimate we can probably do in the order of 10 to 12,000 meters before year end. And we're looking at maybe $5 or $6 million budget, so well within our comfort.
And what type of drilling are you trying to do? Because we talked about, we referenced 45% so far only on the PEA.
Great.
Do you want to kind of expand that a bit, or are we trying to work towards helping with the get into production?
Well, both things, except for we are doing step-out drilling.
Okay.
Because, as I said, a lot of it's even above 300 meters. So, for example, in the 100-meter slice between 200 meters and 300 meters, that from even our limited work, it's still open along strike in both directions. It was over 1 million ounces in that 100-meter strip of the deposit. And of course, this deposit goes 2.4 kilometers. And I think, often when we have people out there and they look, they go, wow, this is big. Like 2.4 kilometers is very long. The zones are very continuous along that. So we are hoping that by stepping down to fill in that next slice and the next slice, that the expectations are to add in the order of potentially 1 million ounces.
Right.
We also see a very distinct trend that's repeated, and we have enough data to show the grades do increase with depths. Therefore, it's in our best interest to step down that next level. And the other issue is in our PEA, we had a mine life of 13 years. We know this deposit's far larger than that. And in a country like Guyana, well, any place, a 13-year mine life is fine, but it's a big investment, and you mobilize a team of employees, you train them, you get everything humming along. A 20, 30-year mine life, we believe that the Omai project has a 20 or 30-year mine life potential. In a country like Guyana, that's a tremendous benefit. People essentially have jobs for their working life, and that's a plus.
It is a plus. And you need to remind me, or remind the audience specifically, in terms of what type of management team are you? Because I've been asking people a lot this week about change in business models, where you go, look, we're explorers, but we're going to set this up for the big boys and their big balance sheets to deliver. Or we can have the conversation where you say, no, we'll look to build it and keep that competitive tension going. What's the reality?
I guess, sorry, I thought your question was going to be our management style, and you were going to ask me if I was a micromanager.
Really aggressive.
Yeah. I mean, clearly we are the expertise is in exploration.
Yeah.
That is the sweet spot. That is my passion. I also had Josh Bailey just join the team here, and he came out of BHP, had a very impressive job with BHP, and I'm quite pleased to have him. And I knew him. He was the vice president of exploration at Walbridge.
Right.
When they kind of pivoted to the gold and ended up acquiring the Fenelon project, which also is a multi-million ounce gold deposit now. So I took him down to Omai, and he thought it had vast potential, and so it's great having him on board. But again, his forte is in exploration, and so, I mean, I think the main thing, Matt, is that the steps that we're taking, and we both have experience with majors and juniors, they're the same things that a deposit needs. The quality of the work we do, we think, is strong. We're doing some of the engineering work as well to try and progress it as fast as we can towards production.
Okay.
But these are the same things. If another company comes in to help finance or develop it, all of these steps are the same. we can expand our team. We have expanded our team with some mining engineers, actually, with good experience. But we can either expand the current team. We can't see our future, but we know the path that we have to take.
Yeah, and sort of coming off the back of, let's say, sort of tricky period for explorers, right? Where cash is tight. Everyone's trying to keep their head above water. You popped out the other side. I'm not quite sure that, because most explorers aren't benefiting from the high price gold environments, right? So it's easily said, but there's no correlation at the moment. For you guys, we popped out the other side here. Do you look back a little bit and go, we could have one mind, and in fact, the market could go again. We've got to be careful. We've got some money now. We don't want to go crazy. And we've got to be sure we can raise the next tranche for the next bit of drilling to keep expanding this resource out.
No, I actually think we've turned the corner. I think just even based on the meetings here, people can see we've proven what we have. Yeah. And I think people can now see, wow, this has huge potential. So we have turned that corner. We have, we've checked the boxes. Yeah. So, a lot of exploration companies, they raise a little bit of money because they have to kind of prove their proof of concept kind of thing. We know where we need to drill to expand this. The geology actually is fairly simple. It's almost layer cake gold zones. Yeah. And, we see the path. We know where we need to go. So I don't think it's the time to, we know where we want to go. Right. And I believe that, if we spend this money, the next money will be there, and the next money will be
right. I was particularly taken when you talked to me about 20, 30 year life of mine. I'm like, oh, now I'm leaning into this thing, because there's a lot of benefits to that. One, it also attracts the right sorts of people as well. Yep. A 10-year mine with good returns, good margin, it's fine, but it's a certain type of investor that's going to go to a bank and ask for that money. Right. 2030 is the big boy territory, and as long as you can lay the story out for them, they can do the rest, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And just in terms of history, remind people your background and some of the stuff that you've done.
Yeah, I've been involved with quite a few discoveries. I guess the most notable that people know me from is, I joined the board of Richmond in 2010. Yeah. And so the Island Gold Mine up near Wawa in Ontario, we were producing 45,000 ounces just in that upper shallow area, 5 grams, 5.2 grams. Sometimes we were profitable. And it was sort of teetering. Do we shut the mine down? And, I was an advocate to drill under. You don't shut down an operating permitted mine in Ontario. So we drilled underneath it 12 holes. There was obviously mineralization. I stepped in as the interim CEO in 2014, and we just, there was a clear path that this was going to be something large. And in fact, we started down to develop it before we even had sort of the resource pulled together, because otherwise we would have had to shut the mine down. So that's when Renaud Adams came in as CEO. I knew him from IM Gold days. In fact, he was down. IM Gold ended up acquiring Cambior that ran the Omai mine, so he knows Omai as well. So that story, when I stepped in as interim, it was a 75 million market cap, and Renaud came in and accelerated the development, and basically we sold that to Alamos for just under $1 billion 3 years later. So that, and it's been my great pleasure to be on the board of Alamos as well, to see Island Gold go to a 6 million ounce deposit at over 11 grams. Spectacular deposit. So, seeing that type of thing, I would say that when I looked at Omai and I saw the potential, I kind of went, oh, that looks really interesting.
In terms of the process, because there is a process to that kind of build up, getting that kind of corporate, and not just involvement, but interest early on.
Yeah. So it's, I guess, I think particularly now, and you'll hear it, but in Q2, the gold price actually didn't move till I think it was mid-March or thereabouts. So really, we all knew that in Q2, all those producers were going to realize that much higher gold price. So the cash coming into the producers has really changed. They're paying down debt. They're sitting on big bags of money, and they have a $2,500 gold price. So the next move is obviously to do acquisitions. they can grow through exploration, but a lot of them, if they want tangible growth, they need to acquire. And the types of projects that even mid-tiers need, especially going into a new jurisdiction, they need a larger, long life operation.
Yeah.
And as I said, in a country like Guyana, from a country perspective, it's a great country. I love being down there. The people, they're hardworking. They love their jobs. Great enthusiasm working on the project. And, a 10-year mine life, it doesn't really do anything for the country. And I think majors and mid-tiers going into a country, they also want to be good corporate citizens, and that's how you achieve that. So I think, I think we've got the ingredients that really can attract a significant company. I would also say that, we do know with the money we have, we know exactly where we want to drill.
Yeah.
And as I said, the one slice at between 200 and 300 meters gave us over 1 million ounces.
That's the focus.
At 2 grams.
Yeah.
So we're basically, and we're not super conservative. We're junior, so we're stepping out 150 meters, right? And we know from the drilling we've done, it's fairly predictable. We think we can build that up and target a fairly significant deposit.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yes.
Appreciate you coming in. I know you're busy as anything out
No,
there,
appreciate it. It's been a great conference, and
like you say, a different type of conversation when you're where you are compared to the begging bowl of the last few years,
Absolutely. Well, that's what I said. We come to something like this, and all of us in the mining industry, we've seen the ups and downs, but I always think the little song in my head from Wicked, I love that play Wicked, about that little song that, we're popular. So this is the first year, I think we're getting some recognition, and we're really excited.
Well done to you. Well done.
Thank you.